Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. This is Market Today. I'm Sakshi Batra and with me is Shail Bhatnagar. Well, it was a weak start to the new Samvat 2081 yesterday as the markets failed to hold on to that crucial 24,000 mark on the Nifty. There was nervousness right ahead of the US election results, sustained FII selling, weaker than expected September quarterly earnings and many more factors that have been weighing on the market sentiments. And the market has now decisively broken the consolidation range of the previous 8 days on the downside and has closed at a 3-month low as of yesterday as well. Remains to be seen as the things escalate and action now intensified on the Wall Street as well as in the US election ground as well. Will the markets find some ground in today's trading session, or will there be even more volatility that we need to brace ourselves for? We will be letting you know everything that you have to about the trade in today's session, as well as how are experts really watching the markets, the strategies they are recommending right amidst the US election, as well as the upcoming US Federal Reserve rate decisions as well. Good morning to all our viewers and good morning, Shail.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let's hope मंगलवार है तो मंगल ही होगा, but it doesn't seem that Mangal and bulls are in sync with each other. Let's start with the daily chart of the Nifty, and yesterday's low of almost 23,816 was what you saw earlier in late June. So it's almost 11 minus 6, a 5-month low that the market revisited in yesterday's trade, which Sakshi correctly points out was the start of the Samvat 2081, the new year in India, on a back foot. Sakshi, before I begin my commentary, could you please tell me what is the net FI sell number for yesterday?
Yes, absolutely, Shail. Remember, the FIIs have been on a selling spree. There has been not even a single day when they have purchased stocks in the Indian markets all across last 1 month. And even yesterday, it was the same situation. We have seen the FIIs sell for the 26th consecutive session as well. Approximately 4,329.8 crore rupees worth of stocks were sold by the FIIs.
Right. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is a continuous trend. From the beginning of November, the bulls have been again put on the back foot. All of October, you saw a net sell of about 1,78,000 crore rupees emanating from FIIs. And I'll request the PCR to now fire the chart of Reliance Industries. This is a special chart that I have prepared for you. What you will see is a correction which has now reached 20-21% from an all-time high. One would presume that selling pressure would abate after the stock is below 200 DMA, but yesterday's move was a fresh sell on Reliance, and from a high of about 1600, which is the ex-bonus price, you have Reliance now somewhere like 1300. So it's a cool 20-21 correction, 20-21% correction, and yesterday's fall of about 2.5% perhaps is the beginning of a new sell phase on India's most profitable company, the largest company by sales, as also the top company by market capitalization. So this is how sentiment is being taken to the cleaners. Similarly on ICICI Bank, similarly on HDFC Bank, Kotak, Infosys. These are all stocks where FIs have large chunks of equity. They are able to sell it with little or no effort, and this is how sentiment is getting trashed on the long side. What are the reasons? Well, they are fairly similar. It's the US 10-year yield which has accelerated to a July high. You have crude oil prices up 5 days in a row. Sakshi, mark my words, crude oil prices are giving you a hint that there is something brewing between Iran and Israel. They will wait for the US election to get over, and this weekend will be a very heavy weekend. One hopes that no retaliation comes in from Iran, but crude oil prices now up for a fifth day at around $72 a barrel are now telling a different story. Both these powers in the Middle East may not do anything to impact the US election directly, which takes place tonight, but all signs from crude oil tell you that something big is in the offing. Let's hope it does not happen. So higher crude oil prices are also negative overall for Indian equity segment. That's true. Of course, the US election is happening. If it was such a major concern, then you would have seen similar falls that are happening in all Asian markets happen also in the US market, but that has not happened. It's the US 10-year yield which is the biggest culprit along with crude oils, as also very terrible set of second quarter numbers. Sakshi will give you some details that have come in, but again today we have Titan and we have Dr. Reddy's from Nifty. Titan's second quarter earnings are supposed to be down 27%, and many of the earnings that Sakshi will just describe will show you how margins have contracted. Even in some cases, revenue has come down. So the second quarter earnings, which have been dismal by all accounts, have pulled down valuations, removed the froth in the market, and has resulted in this sharp sell-off that we say. Maybe today you will see the Nifty trying to consolidate at early August close, but it doesn't look good. You have the 200-day DMA fairly close, and maybe that is something that will be tested over this week. Let's hope the pain sort of ameliorates after that, but heavy selling pressure coming in frontline blue chips, where FIIs prefer to press minor exits, but mid caps and small caps are getting thrashed in equal measure. Look at how the small cap and the mid cap index fell about 1 percentage points each. The NSE 500 also fell sharply. Losses were almost similar to what you see on the Nifty as well. All told, from the beginning of October 1st till Monday's close of November 4th, we've lost somewhere like 36 lakh crores in market capitalization, and more losses are possibly on way. Now Sakshi, this is what is looking ugly, but there are some changes for the positive that are happening, and I'll request the PCR to fire the long-term chart of the Nifty PSU banking index. Here the correction from the top of June 3rd, which was 8,100 on the index, a record high, to October 25th low, somewhere like 66,150, has been to the extent of 23%. So we are now in bear territory as far as the Nifty PSU banking index is concerned. But here is the beauty. This is where buying support has come in. You look at the stocks such as SBI, PNB, Bank of Baroda. They have been the shining stars of second quarter earnings, where you've seen strong profit growth, decrease in gross non-performing assets, a better expectations on top line, and this is where sustained buying, quality buying is taking place. So maybe the hiding spot is the PSU banking sector, and the pain is ahead. We have the US Federal Reserve 2-day meeting, which starts on Wednesday. On Thursday night the result will be out. We will be reacting to that on Friday, and of course the big one, US elections. Sakshi, if you were in America, who would you vote for?
It's a tough one, Shail, and since I'm not there, I'm not going to be taking either pick. I don't know who's going to be better for the Indian markets, because with Trump, I feel that Indian markets have an experience with Donald Trump before, so it could be a situation that you know what is coming. But again, with Harris, it's going to be completely different, even though she's going to be carrying on with the incumbent policies, etc. So we just do not know. I'm not really sure. I have been reading up a lot, but I've just not been able to pick one as to what I believe that for India will be important. I think India will have to continue to bank on its own fundamentals and growth story as well, and these external factors should remain just external factors as well. Now, with the Monday's fall, remember viewers, we've actually seen the Nifty is now down nearly 9% from its record high levels. 26,277 was its record high, which it had hit on September 27. 9% lower. We'll just have to see whether it gets worse from here. On Monday, we've seen the US markets closed lower in trade as well. Dow Jones ended about 0.6% lower. S&P 500 was down 0.28%, and the Nasdaq Composite was down by about 0.3% as well. What we've also seen is that following these Asian markets were trading mixed in the early morning trading action. Increasing risk of sentiment is playing up as well. So when we look at the sentiment as the clock is ticking down to the tight US election race and the Federal Rate Reserve decision, there is going to be a lot of volatility and the markets are going to be at the edge. China's mainline index was up by 1.4%, Hang Seng was up 0.7%, but the Kospi was down 0.5% and the ASX 200 was also down by about 0.4% as well. What we've also seen is that Japan's Nikkei was up over 1% after a day's holiday as well. Gift Nifty futures were down by about 51 points, indicating to a start however around 24,000 odd levels as well. So we'll have to see how the markets really take shape going forward from here. Remember, I have pointed out overseas investors have remained net sellers for the 26th session, selling about 4,329 odd crore rupees. DIIs, however, bought the stocks worth about 2,936 odd crore rupees worth of stocks in the cash market yesterday. As far as the earnings are concerned, Raymond will be in focus. The consolidated YOY numbers show that the revenue has seen a sharp uptick, and this is at 1,044 odd crore rupees. EBITDA has improved by 105% at 115 odd crore rupees as well. Margins, however, came down about 90 basis points at 11.01%, and the net profit is down by about 63.35% as well at 59 odd crore rupees. ABB has come out with the numbers. Revenue was flat with a positive bias, 5% higher at 2,912 odd crore rupees. EBITDA improved, however, by 23%. EBITDA margins improved by 273 basis points at 18.5%. The net profit improved by 21% at 440 odd crore rupees. A decent set of numbers coming in from ABB. Amara Raja reported a 6.3% year-on-year increase in its net profit at 240 odd crore rupees for the second quarter. We've seen in the corresponding quarter, the corresponding fiscal year, same quarter, the company had posted a net profit of 226 odd crore rupees. The company's revenue from operations have increased by 11.6% at 3,135 odd crore rupees. We'll also look at Procter & Gamble. Q1 of FY25 shows that the revenue is up about 3% at 313 odd crore rupees. EBITDA improved by 29 crores. What we've also seen is the margins have come in at 36.4% and the net profit was up 26% as well at 82 odd crore rupees. Tilak Nagar Industries has come out with the earnings. Revenue up by about 9.7%. What we've also seen is that the figure was at 374 odd crore rupees. EBITDA improved by 39%. Margins came in at 17.6% versus 13.4%, and the net profit was higher by 57% at 58.23 odd crore rupees versus 37 odd crore rupees. KC International on a quarter two consolidated YOY numbers show that the revenue improved by about 13.5% at 5,113 odd crore rupees, and this was slightly higher than the estimates. EBITDA improved by about 17% at 320 odd crore rupees. This was, however, lower than the expectations. Margins came in at 6.3%, and this was also lower than the expectations that the street had, and the net profit improved by 53% at 85 odd crore rupees. For JK Paper, the consolidated YOY numbers show revenue was absolutely flat at 1683 odd crore rupees. EBITDA was down by 35% to 264 odd crores as well. Margins came in sharply lower at 15.7% versus 24.7%, and profit also declined by nearly 60% to 129 odd crore rupees. IRCTC came out with the numbers, a 7.2% uptick as far as the revenue figures are concerned, 1,064 odd crore rupees as well. Margins were flattish with just a 2% uptick at 373 odd crore rupees. What we've also seen is that the net profit was up by about 4.4% at 308 crore rupees. So those were the key earnings that I'm keeping an eye out on, Shail.
Right. We'll also look at some trends that are visible on Nifty stocks. I'll request the PCR to fire Bharti Airtel. These are swing trades. Essentially, that stocks have fallen so fast that you might see the potential of an uptick intraday or maybe for 1 or 2 days. Look at Bharti Airtel. The stock is down for 8 consecutive sessions. Now, what you see in front of you is 1601 in futures. Yesterday, the counter lost 19.45 rupees, and this is the chart that is there in front of you. Strong volume section that we see, a rise in open interest, and of course delivery statistics are good as well. Look at TCS, down for 5 days in a row, and what you see is 3985 in futures. Yesterday it lost about 0.1%, but strong volume action as far as futures are concerned, as also delivery statistics are improving for the better. ICICI Bank index heavyweight down for 4 successive days. What you see is 1281 on the charts, down 14 rupees, and at the moment if you see the volume pressure in the F&O space has increased dramatically, as have deliveries. So you can well imagine that you can interpret deliveries in 2 fashions, that weak hands are selling after a sustained sell-off already, and it's the stronger ones that are buying. Remember, ICICI Bank's earnings were equally strong, Bharti Airtel's earnings were very good, and TCS also reported a strong set of numbers. 8 days, 5 days and 4 days of successive consecutive falls. This is where sensible people step in to either provide support or maybe take a better view of the stock on the long side. With us is Mr. Dharmesh Kant, Head of Equity Research at Cholamandalam Securities. Namaste Dharmesh ji, a very warm welcome to you, sir. How do you see sentiment on Dalal Street? Second day of Samvat. Tonight is the election in the US. Everybody and his mother is saying that because of US elections, Indian markets are falling. But why are the US markets not falling because of US elections?
Yeah, Namaste Sanjay, good morning Sakshi, and good morning to all our viewers. I think, see, market always needs some excuse, some kind of a, opinion to justify the course of action, and that is what is happening. I don't think it's the real reason behind the correction in the market. It's more to do with some, profit taking by the FIIs because of their own worries. I mean, they are making most of the money here in India. If you look at stock specific, the correction has been far sharper. And if you look at the stock price movement, most of the stocks have rallied more than 100% in a year's time frame. So it was logical for them to take some money off the table to save their own, home or backyard, if I may say so. But I think now we are nearing the end of this correction. My initial assessment was somewhere around 23,500, where real value will emerge. I mean, this valuation correction which has to happen at that level, it seems justified. So we are almost there. Yesterday it touched 23,800. So now is the time to start, aggressive buying into your portfolios. Maybe market does everything excess. So when it goes up, it climbs up 5-7% extra. Maybe while coming down, it may fall another 5%. So, but that's okay. But if you are an investor, you are looking for a long-term perspective. So now is the time when you should be applying your money to right use, and that is right stock selection.
Okay, Dharmesh, very good morning to you. Good to have you with us. Is there any place where one can hide in this kind of a fall, or should one just be a witness to this entire carnage play out, things to settle down, and only then take a step in the markets? How are you really looking at the market setup and advising your clients? I'm sure your phones must not be stopping to ring now.
Yeah, morning, Sakshi. I mean, see, it depends upon what kind of market participant you are. If you are a trader, then definitely it's a risky market. Wild swings can happen either ways because valuation-wise the market has become attractive, so you can get a wild swing on the way up as well. And because of news flow surrounding some concerns, you can see a sharp profit taking, which may push the market down. So that is for traders. Still, I mean, for traders, it's a braveheart call. And it's more of a lucky call. You don't know which way the swing may happen. But for investors, even for medium-term investors, I think now market has become ripe to deploy your money to cherry picking. And the areas where you can find some comfort, one is definitely banking space, but you have to be selective. It's not across the board. Along with, say, infra, railway infra, defense, these were the pockets which were doing well earlier as well. And these are the pockets which are likely to do well. One sector which I think is likely to do well going forward in a month's time would be metals. So China, you must be hearing their People's Congress Committee is sitting out there to dole out packages for state level debt increases. So if that happens, it will help the commodity going forward. And we have seen the US GDP. It's still at 2.8%. So when people were talking about recession and everything, the economy is growing over 2% for this year as well. So global demand environment remains very conducive. Eurozone came out with 0.4% kind of a GDP growth, and it was across the board, barring few Latvia and some small countries. Otherwise, the growth was very good. So I think commodity is one space, particularly the non-ferrous metal space like Hindalco and all, likely to do well.
Ji. Dharmesh, when you look at the broader results that have come in from the second quarter earnings, what are your top three assessments of corporate India when it comes to the numbers that have been put up for the July-September quarter? What strikes you immediately?
Shalji, I mean, to be very honest, it's a very confusing set of numbers, biased towards negativity more than positivity. So most of the large cap companies have come out with numbers which are either cautionary in nature or have disappointed. So it's an indicative of what is likely to come in Q3 and maybe a part of Q4 as well. And in mid cap smalls, there has been divergence. A few companies have come out with good set of numbers and few with a not so good set of numbers. But what happens logically, going by if you are a student of economics, so if large caps do not do well, I mean, they are underperforming. So eventually it catches up with the mid cap as well. So companies, to my mind, there are few companies which have been able to skip Q2 earnings derating, but it's likely to follow up in Q3. So we are going with a clear bias that even Q3 won't be that great. It will be the companies which have done well in Q2 will show a negative kind of a result in Q3, and those who have already factored in Q2 will see some kind of stability in Q3. So it's like it's a play where you have to pick your cards well. But overall, the numbers are not that encouraging. So in the near term, there's definitely a headwind or a cautionary wind in the offing, which is keeping the HNI and the ultra HNI segment away from the market as of now. I think they will step in the market post Maharashtra elections results are through and the entire Q2 number is also through by then. So then maybe some directional call can be taken from that group. Otherwise, the trade is very clear. FIs are selling, DIs are buying, and the balancing fall in the market is induced by the informed investor or ultra HNI segment who are sellers in the market as of now.
Okay. Dharmesh ji, I want to also understand from you as far as the mid and the small caps are concerned particularly. Is there more downside to go even beyond the 10% cut that we are seeing, and a correction phase has begun for both the mid and the small caps? Some more froth needs to be taken out, or are you finding interesting opportunities after this 10% cut on the surface and much more on individual stocks within the mid and the small cap space?
Sakshi, if you look at the mid and small cap space, the story has always been excesses. So when they move up quite to a very expensive zone, and same happens in the correction times. As of now, I mean, it's very undecided, it's very unclear kind of environment for the mid and small cap. Because when we talk to dealers, I mean, for example, if you are talking to a paint dealer, so he's also not very clear about the kind of demand which is coming. For particular few companies, the dealer will be bullish, but for few other companies, the same person is not bullish. Overall, what we are seeing is a mixed demand environment and a slight slowdown or a degrowth kind of environment what we are seeing. Keeping that in mind, so mid and small cap is still a dicey space. Stock specific, you may get few ideas. Otherwise, better to avoid, wait for a month before you enter there.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the pre-open with us, and it's a very, very dangerous number. Uh, well, there is no point putting paint on what is right there in front of us. 300 points lower, 23,700. And for a very, very brief while, Sakshi, we did see the 200 DMA being tested, but that's pre-open. This is volatile. But I am telling you, this is where the market is indicating where it wants to see itself. HDFC Bank 3 percentage points lower, 1662. ICICI Bank 3 percentage points lower, 1239. Let's look at Reliance, 3 percentage points lower, 1263. Remember, these are the three heaviest weighted counters on the Nifty. These are the three most liquid spaces where FIs can press hundreds of crores worth of sales without doing much damage to price, and this is what is getting reflected. Is there a stock in the green as far as the top 10 are concerned? Yes, Bajaj Finserv 1% higher, 1722. You have ITC 3 rupees higher, 487.6. Let's look at what Infosys and TCS are doing. Infosys is flat at 1760, not much of a movement, and TCS is down 110 rupees at 3844. This is a very, very dismal start, a gap down of 1.2%, which is most likely to accelerate further. Let's see some good news. ABB 3 percentage points higher, 7590. Strong set of numbers coming in. You have Amber Technologies 2 percentage points higher, 6120. You have Chem Plus Sanmar, again earnings led, 3% higher, 490. And of course, let's look at how the most active is panning out. Okay, all I see is a shade of red across the board, but few green ticks. Let me mention them. IEX 1.1% higher, 175. Remember, a lot of people were scrambling to buy IEX at 230 rupees. Well, now it's available at 145. Maybe you should show the same level of enthusiasm. What's also in the green? Angel 2887. What is also in the green is Mazgaon Dock 0.2% higher. I don't think so they will last, but it's a dismal picture as far as the initial start for the day is concerned. The Nifty now improving, 23,800 is what I see, 188 lower. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll have a painful Tuesday, and let's sort of tighten our seat belts and seek Dharmesh ji's wisdom to how to navigate these markets. Dharmesh ji, an extra SIP for November, or should we wait for better prices to emerge?
No, Shailji, for SIP, you should never wait. You should continue doing it. Even extra SIP, because catching a market bottom and top is very difficult to, get it right. You have to be lucky to get it right. So, I mean, such kind of a case, I don't think the market is going to open where this pre-open is indicating. It's going to open much higher than what it's now. But yeah, for SIP, it's the right time to start.
SIP, it's the right time to start. Okay, let's welcome Kunal V. Parar, Vice President Technical Research Choice Equity Broking also. He's now joining in to share with us the technical perspective on the markets as well. Warm welcome to you, Kunal. Good to have you with us. Well, the market's clearly not giving any indication of, bouncing back. It's only giving us lower levels in the pre-open. Again, it's looking to be around 23,800 odd mark. What is the sense that you're getting on the Nifty and on the Nifty Bank? Will it be another down day like yesterday?
Well, definitely. We may see some further correction that that can be extended up to the level of 23,500, 23,300. Now, Nifty has already given a breakdown of its 100 days moving average and recent bottom, which was placed at 24,000. So, further downside momentum would be there as per the chart analysis. And if you talk about all the large caps counters which are trading at present level, though they all have been trading with breakdown manner, and they all have been trading below its 58 days and 100 days moving average. So no further places there for Nifty to going down up to the level of 23,500. Now we can expect some sort of bounce back from that level because 200 days there. So definitely from the present level, I am expecting downside momentum up to the level of 23,500 to 23,300.
सो कुणाल जी क्या शॉर्ट करना चाहिए फिर आपके हिसाब से?
Well, sir, if you talk about short size, then one stock is there, Grasim, because I'm not talking about other counters because risk reward is not that much of favorable when you are searching for short candidates because volatility high, so risk reward won't be in a favorable manners. But yes, Grasim is there. Grasim is trading at 2596 level. One can go for short position in Grasim with strict SL of 2645. Downside at first target we can say it's 2550, and if Grasim breaks this level, then further downside would be there up to the level of 2490. So Grasim is a perfect candidate for short selling.
Okay, got it. So for short selling, but are you also looking to invest or buy opportunities as well in this market? Is that giving you any sign anywhere?
Well, if you ask me about medium term to long term journey, definitely, if I have a fund, definitely I'll go for buy position only because few selected stocks are there in which I'm like I have been like continually buying on every month on months. So definitely, if market falls from the present level up to the level of 21,000, it doesn't hurt me a lot. Definitely, I'll go with my as usual SIP modes only.
Okay, got it. Well, the market sentiment seems to be improving. 23,914 right now, 80 points lower in trade. So that's still much better than the opening, pre-opening tick that we saw of 300 point downwards. This is still bearable at this point in time. Let's hope that we are actually steady around these levels and we do not fall like 9 pins. 23,916 right now. All the sectors although are still indicative of a negative start, barring something that Dharmesh ji pointed out, metals that could be showing us some ticks on the positive side. The stocks that are actually looking to open in the green in the pre-open are IT stocks like Wipro, HCL Tech, some banking stocks like Axis Bank, Nestle, Shriram Finance are some of the other stocks that could be indicative of a positive start in the opening trade as far as the Nifty is concerned. Dharmesh ji, coming to you, especially the IT stocks is something that I wanted to discuss with you. Yesterday also some of them did show us some strength in an absolutely weak setup. Do you think one has to go defensive in this market, and especially IT is something that one should be lapping on to?
No, Sakshi, if you want to buy defensive, buy FMCG. IT
Okay.
was never defensive basket, but somehow it has been categorized as that. See, Sakshi, the problem with IT companies is, I mean, in the INR terms, they are reporting around 5 to 7% kind of a PAT growth. And whereas the PE multiples where they are commanding is anywhere between 27 to 35. And this is a very expensive valuation. Going by how the things are shaping up, I mean, I have been talking to many companies out there. I don't get a sense where they are, comfortable saying that 15% or even 13, 14% kind of a profitability growth they see going forward in next 1 or 2 years. So there's a big catch out there. Just because they have been such a fancy name, people are still latching onto them. I'm totally avoiding, and neither I'm advising my clients to buy any of the IT stocks. Engineering research and services development, that's a segment which is different from the actual software players like Infosys, TCS and all. That is one space which looks attractive, and there I think KPIT technology, though the numbers were okay, but it was beaten down very badly. I mean, the response was bad to those numbers, but I think the attraction should be there. It's a good quality company to get into, along with Tata Technology. So these are the two companies where I am quite bullish on. Tata Technology numbers were not that great because of some slowdown of EV related, manufacturing and selling point in Europe and the US, but that's a passing phase. Going forward 1 year down the line, things will shape up quite well. So these are two places where I think still there is a good value. to catch up to, and those can be bought into.
Okay, KPIT Technologies, let's throw that question to Kunal. The long-term chart will appear in front of you. Just 3 days ago, it was available at 1294, 1300, and from its most recent peak that we have seen of about 1900 rupees, the stock has corrected a wonderful 31%. So if you were keen on KPIT at 1900, you should be more than keen at about 1300. Is the correction, according to you, Kunal, almost over on KPIT, or do you see further downside?
Well, Sailji, on a weekly chart, stock has a multiple support of somewhere around 1300 level. Not only this, during last week, stock form have a candlesticks formation, and if you talk about weekly moving average, then stock has also taken the support of its weekly moving average. So multiple supports are there, which is talking about the bullish sentiment in the counter. So no doubt, stock has corrected almost from the 1800 level to 1300 level, but I think this is the time where one should go for creating a long position in the KPIT. Right now, stock is trading at 1411 level, and downside support comes at 1300 level. So 100 point of SL is perfect if you talk about medium term trading. Upper side first target that we can say is the 1620, and if stock breaks this 1620, then further upside would be there up to the level of 1800. So risk reward is in favor of creating a bullish position in the counter. One can create a long position with strict SL of 1300.
Okay, got it. So that's the view that's coming in.
Just a point of mention.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Sakshi, continue, no issues. Continue.
Okay. Let me also get Dharmesh ji into the conversation. Dharmesh ji wanted to understand, especially on the battery makers, Amara Raja and Exide. What is your view? Both have declared their earnings. Brokerage houses have come out with their ticks as well. These were the spaces that were in thick action about 3 months ago or so. After that, we've seen consolidation play out. Are the opportunities still, abundant within these two spaces? The growth drivers still intact, or do you think valuations have run ahead of expectations there as well?
Actually, if we don't talk about valuations, it's better because valuations are very high. But the numbers were not that great. I mean, look at Excite numbers. It was single-digit kind of a growth numbers out there. And look at the PE multiple is trading at above 50 times PE multiple. And the return ratios are very low. I mean, it's a single-digit kind of ROEs. So it was a concept play, thematic play, and that was a period when any theme you roll out in the market, people were just, gung-ho about the theme. So I think the realization of actual economic growth is now sinking in to most of such companies where people have participated, and that's why the profit taking is happening. So let it correct more, I mean 15-20% from here, then it may become attractive from a long-term perspective. Otherwise, business-wise, I mean, the story is there, but we are seeing headwinds in the EV space as well. It's not that clear kind of a strategy with CNG again picking up and, gas-based bikes getting launched. So its window is wide open right now, how the things are going to shape up. So this kind of volatility will continue to witness. But valuation-wise, actually, again, I say that it's not fairly overvalued, but extremely overvalued.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll also keep an eye out on ABB. The numbers were fantastic. One of those rare companies that actually announced a rise in EBITDA margin. The stock has also settled about 0.5% higher. Let's just go through the numbers of ABB. Sales rose 5% year on year to 2,912 crores. Net profit surged 22% at 440 crores year on year, and EBIT margins were 23% higher at 540 crores versus 439. So you see a very strong trend that is coming into ABB. Let's see what numbers point to as far as prices are concerned. ABB is off the block, 1% higher, 74.60. I'll request Kunal in a little while to keep a view on it, but let's just start with the market. Okay, Green tick on Nifty IT, thank God. About 30 points higher, 40,450. The Nifty itself is 41 points lower. Nifty Bank is 64 points lower. Nifty 500 is also 64 points lower. So as Sakshi said, it's not looking as bad it was in the start of pre-open towards the opening quote. Okay. Are there any greens? Okay, the market is giving you a sense of direction, ladies and gentlemen. Look at SBI and look at Axis Bank. So banks are holding the index to some extent on the Nifty. SBI 831. Remember, the most recent bounce that we've seen was from 200-day DMA. Axis Bank 3.5 rupees higher, 1142. L&T in the green, that's positive, 35.72. Now look at the pain points. Reliance again 12 rupees, 11 rupees lower, 12.90. Infosys 7 rupees lower, 17.56. HDFC Bank 10 rupees lower, 17.03. Bajaj Finance 14 rupees lower, 68.29. The damage is not looking as worse as it was in the initial 1 or 2 minutes of pre-open. Okay. ABB is now flat, 73.51. Okay, let's not get worried about it. Dr. Reddy's is the earnings boy today, 0.3% higher, 12.72. What else is in the green? Tata Motors 8.27. These are sensible prices, ladies and gentlemen. Keep an eye out. Bharat Forge PNB in the green. Let's look at the top gainers in the NSE 500. Is there a trend? The Nifty is improving, moving towards 24,000, now down just 18. Top gainers on NSE 500. Chemplast 7% higher, RR Kabel 5.3% higher, Raymond 3.6% higher. These are initial moves that are coming in. Let's hope whether this continues or not. Let's look at the most active in NSE 500. Anything that catches my fancy? Okay, ABB is the third highest traded counter, and in the green is ICICI Bank, in the green is Bombay Stock Exchange, in the green is RVNL. How interesting, 1.9% higher. And of course you have CDSL, you have Angel One. So it's the broking space that is coming into strength, and Sakshi, it's a turnaround it seems. Let's hope this is not a dead cat bounce. The advanced decline has sharply improved in the market to about 1174 stocks in the green, 850 in the red. A very quick one from you, Kunal, on ABB.
Well, Sailji, stock has a strong support of its 200 days moving average, which is placed somewhere around 7,090. However, stock has been trading in a range-bound momentum only since last 4 to 5 days. So one should wait until it gives a breakout of its upper range of its range-bound momentum, congestion momentum, which is placed at 7,535. So let's say if stock breaks this 7,535, then one should go for creating a long position. Upper side first target that we can see it's 8,000, and if stock breaks this 8,000, then further upside would be there up to the level of 8,700. So no doubt, risk reward is in favor of creating a long position only. But if it breaks 7,535, then only we will get the confirmation for good upside momentum.
Okay, kudos to you, Dharmesh. Metals are the top movers today. That's what you did talk about. 1.2% higher in trade. It's a strong move, and you can see across the board gains coming in. Hindalco is the top mover on the Nifty, 1.7% higher. JSW Steel, Tata Steel, they're all up and about in trade as well. In fact, let me just look at the constituents. At least we have 10 to 12 constituents that are higher in trade within the metals pack in trade today. How would you really look at the choices available here? What should one be really selective about within the metals pack right now?
Actually, it has to be non-ferrous if you want to go for, say, 3 to 6 month kind of a holding period. And there, I think Hindalco, Nalco, and Sanji are the best choices to pick. Maybe if you want to play the steel space, so rather than steel manufacturers like Tata Steel or JSW Steel or Jindal Steel and Power, I would prefer an NMDC over them. So this is a basket play can be there on the card, but be very aware that metals as a space is very volatile. So if you are looking at day-to-day kind of an activity, then sharp downticks are also there in the offing. So if that is fine with you, then this space looks really attractive for another, say, 20 to 35% kind of a move in next 3 to 6 months. So, because economy fundamentally is doing well across the globe, and this is the sector which has not done well for last 2 3 years. So this space is now moving up, and I think this movement is likely to continue going forward.
Okay.
9:20, ladies and gentlemen. Let's now sort of, Sakshi, it's becoming rare to see the Nifty in the green. This is a color that we haven't, seen for a while. And let's just look at a detour into the broader markets. So far, it's been okayish. Let's see whether the first 1 hour holds in the green or not. Now the advanced decline is improving further. 1471 shares in the green and 663 in the red. Let's look at the high beta space. You've mentioned Nifty Metals. It's the top gaining index, 1.3% higher. Let's look at the Nifty PSU Bank. Remember, the index has corrected 22-23%. It is in bear territory. So most part of the pain seems to be over. 0.5% higher, 67.93. All-time high was 8100 on the index itself. What are the mid caps and the small caps doing? Okay. Mid cap, nothing action so far, but mildly in the green. Small cap, 0.25% higher. What's the advanced decline in the NSE 500? This is good, 325 versus 173. What is the high beta space doing? Let's just take a look. We have RR Kabel, 6% higher. Sakshi, Pondi Oxides is 5% higher. This is post earnings. Edelweiss 3% higher. Tejas Networks 1.5% higher. Hindustan Zinc doing 1.6%. Strong traction coming in across the board. Let's look at the PSU space. Is there something worthwhile? Okay, Chennai Petro. This is the worst performing NSE 500 stock over 1 month, down 33%. It's now up 4%. So this is dead cat bounce, only time will tell. NMDC 2% higher. October numbers were good for the monthly volume sales. It's metals all the way. Kunal, your top metal pick.
Right now, the way all the metal counters has been trading, and if I want to pick one counters, no doubt in today's trading system, metal is trading in a green tick. But one stock is there which looks very attractive, and the stock name is JSW Steel. Right now, JSW Steel is trading 972 level, and the way stock has been trading on a daily chart, I think one can go for creating a long position because stock has been trading above 200 days moving average. Not only this, I think in last week stock Pharma, it's a hammer candlesticks formation, which is a bullish reversal formation, and stock is trying to coming out of its consistent momentum. So all the parameters, all the equation goes in favor of bullish momentum only. So one can go for creating a long position in JSW Steel at present level 972. Downside support comes at 940. So we will keep SL at 940. First target that we can see in the counter is 993, and if stock breaks this 993, then further upside would be there up to the level of 1030. So amongst other metal counters, I think JSW still looks very attractive.
Okay, got it. So JSW Steel looks attractive right now, 2% higher in trade. Okay, some sectors are now slipping into the red. They're giving up those gains of the last few minutes. Small caps, mid caps have both slipped into the red. Private banks are now down. You also have the realty, consumer durables, FMCG, financial services. They're all slipping in trade. Metals, pharma, IT, auto, and slight gains in PSU banks remain into the green as well. Let's get you to talk about some pockets which are actually showing us some strength. Let's talk about the NBFC space and the brokerage houses space as well. Dharmesh ji, going strong. Edelweiss 3% higher. Nuvama Wealth % higher. We have Motilal Oswal about 0.5% higher. Geojit up in trade. All these broking companies are actually still buzzing in trade. Do you think whether the markets stay in the green or not, this is the space that one could be really looking to play the long-term growth story in the Indian markets?
Definitely, yes, Sakshi. We have discussed about this earlier as well. So this is a great basket to play out. I mean, markets may be volatile for a few short period of time, maybe 1 month, 2 month kind of time frame. And the
Correct.
beauty with brokerage houses is they earn on both the sides. Even if you are selling out and in cashing your profit, you are making, they are making earnings out there, and at the time of buying also they are making earnings out there. Same is applicable to exchanges and other, depository participants. So this is a very safe space to be in, and the type of traction we are seeing in the market. I mean, NSE just reported 20 crores kind of client accounts, to be precise, and unique was around 10.5 crores. So it's still a doubler from here for in next 5 to 7 year kind of a time frame. That is what the mathematics suggests, and we think the way the per capita income is rising and the disposable income is rising, this is likely to happen. So this is one space. It's a no-brainer. You have nothing to lose. But my only suggestion would be go for a basket trade rather than an individual stock idea.
Okay. Right.
9:26, ladies and gentlemen, there are signs of some consolidation. Whether this will hold or not, only time will tell. But the Nifty vacillating around 24,000. Remember, we have the US elections tonight. We have the US Federal Reserve meeting starting on Wednesday. Results will be out on Thursday night. And a very, very heavy event-led week is what we are grappling at. Let's look at Titan 3229. The company is going to announce its second quarter earnings today. Profit is likely to dip fairly sharply. The counter is already below 200 DMA and has corrected substantially from its most recent high of 3800, available at 3232. And part of this is because of high gold prices. People generally defer their purchases of ornaments because the ticket size increases dramatically. Now 0.4% higher. Reliance is still down, but it is at the day's high, and that is helping the Nifty. The low for today was 1286, and we are now at 1296. So that 10 rupee uptick. Let's find similar moves in other Nifty stocks and see what are they doing in terms of the bounce from intraday lows. Let's look at ICICI Bank. You have the counter at 1279. The low was 1273. Let's look at SBI, now at 834, recovered from 827. Let's look at Infosys. The low was 1750. You've recovered from to 1760. So nice bounces that are happening. Whether they are dead cat, only time will tell. But the stock to look at would of course be ONGC. 267, 5-day increase in crude oil prices is good news. Kunal, any option trade that you want to suggest on ONGC or maybe futures?
Well, if you look at this ONGC counter, volatility is too high for this counter, because if you talk about yesterday's trading session, it was down by 2.37%. Right now it is trading at 266. Volatility is too high, so I am not suggesting to create any long position, particularly or short position, particularly in this ONGC future. But yes, the way stock has been trading on a daily chart, I think we can expect some sort of bounce back. So one can go for creating a long position in ONGC options. Right now stock is trading at 266.95. One can create a long position in 265 call option with strict SL at 260. We will keep underlying as our we will keep ONGC as our underlying, and we will follow underlying SL. So we'll keep 260 as our strict SL. Upper side we can see first target is 274, and if stock breaks this 274, then 282 would be there. So as per this intrinsic value, we can see very good upside momentum in ONGC 265 call option.
Okay, got it. Dharmesh ji, let's also get you to talk about the pharma space at large. Gland Pharma is sharply higher in trade, 5.2% after the earnings, although the numbers have pointed to a weaker side. Ajanta Pharma is up 3%, Biocon, Natco Pharma, Laurus Labs, Glenmark, Lupin, Sun Pharma, they're all up and about right now. How are you looking and assessing this pocket at large? It has been in good stead up until thus far this year. Where does it go from here, and how would you pick and choose within this space?
Definitely, one has to be choosy within the space, but the numbers at large were, mostly in line and the better set of numbers. So Netca Pharma, we already have a note on it. We are bullish on it and having a buy recommendation. At the same time, I think Sun Pharma came out with a good set of numbers. Sun Pharma, Arvindo, and Cipla. From the large cap basket, these three remains to be the top pick, and any declines can be bought into out there. But you have to be patient for gains to come by, and if you are a buyer for say at least a year's perspective, then decent 15 to 20% kind of upside on stock price can be expected with volatility in place. So a good space to be in this kind of a market. The topics, as I said, it has to be Cipla, Sun Pharma, or window from the mid and large cap space, and that also qualifies the bill.
Right, so that's as far as the pharma pack
9:31,
is
gentlemen. Let's 9:31, gentlemen. Let's look at the Nifty now. The first 15 minutes have lapsed, and you have an interesting day ahead. If you just look at the 15-minute candle, this will set the trend for the day. The high for this candle is 24,026 and the low is 23,908. So it's almost a 100-point kind of a up and down in the first minutes of trade. Is it 100? No. Yes, it's almost 100. More than that actually. And yesterday's difference between high and low was actually 500 points. This will also be the right time to look at India VIX, which is still up about a percentage point at 1683, and I would be failing in my duty if I don't mention Vari Energies. Fresh high, and you have a price of above 3,000 rupees on the counter. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th day of gains, and it just got listed last Monday, and that's how it is, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I repeat, it's a low float play. Be very, very careful in this kind of a market where you have a broad spectrum sell-off and you have a stock which is recently listed in the IPO up for the 6th day in a row. Not only is our job to mark the price, our job is also to light a spotlight on the path that you are treading. Chennai Petro 642. Kunal, what are the charts of Chennai Petro telling you?
Well, if you look at this Chennai Petro chart, right now stock is trading at 641, up by 4%. But we should wait for this stock, because we have seen a good correction in the counters from 1000 level to up to the level of 610 level. So we should wait until it gets neutralize its high volatility, and if stock try to sustain above somewhere around the 665, then only we will get the confirmation for creating a bullish momentum only. So no doubt stock is trading by 4% up, but I think one should wait and watch.
Okay, got it. So that's the view. Let's again look at some of the broader market performers at this point in time. Interesting names that are up and about. Hudson Agro is up 12% in trade. Procter & Gamble after the earnings is about strong, 8% higher. Tilak Nagar Industries also post earnings 8% higher in trade. Gland Pharma we've marked 6.5% higher. Precision Camshafts has been consistently in thick trade, 6% up in trade even today. Gala Precision Engineering is about 5.5% higher. Azad Engineering is also up, second day in a row. Strong moves coming in. Sequence Scientific is also up. Pondy Oxides mentioned by Shail already. Hind Rectifiers is also moving up in thick trade as well. All of these stocks are anywhere between 5 to 12% higher in trade today. Kunal, anything within this broader market that strikes your attention where one should be really looking to track the momentum?
Well, if we talk about other counters, then one stock is there that looks very attractive. It's Aditya Birla, AMC's ABSL AMC. Right now, stock is
Okay.
trading at 827. The way stock has been trading on a daily chart and the way it has been trading on a daily chart as well as on a weekly chart, I think we can see a further upside momentum from the present level. Right now, stock is trading at 820. One can keep SL at 770. And if you talk about upside target, and first target comes at 860. And if at this time stock breaks this 860, then further upside would be there up to the level of 920. So Aditya Birla AMC looks very attractive amongst the other counters and amongst the other AMC's counters.
Okay, got it. Dharmesh ji, before we let you go, who are you betting for, Trump or Harris?
I'm working for India. So whosoever comes to power, the only thought is they should be pro economic growth and pro India. That's it.
Okay, it's a visual thinking right there. Thank you so much, Dharmesh ji, for
Thank
being
you.
with us on this show. And we will be tracking more market moves tomorrow onwards. Again, the action will be, in thick, spotlight with US election results really impacting the globe. It will be very, very interesting next few days to track. So we hope you are with us at any part of the day to be with us and share your thoughts as well. Many thanks for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's get back to the markets now. Metals, auto, pharma, IT, PSU banks, only 4 to 5 sectors that are holding up in trade right now. Metals we've discussed, pharma we've discussed. Let's get the auto space also out of the way now. Kunal, auto space for you. We've been seeing sales come in. We've been seeing also earnings pan out. Festive demand was muted for a whole host of them. But newer launches, new electric vehicles, they are definitely being shown across the globe from major players in India, Maruti, M&M. How are you really looking at some of the counters here, and what augurs well for this space?
Well, if you talk about auto counters right now, Nifty Auto is trading at 23,730 level with upside momentum of 0.6%. If you look at all the auto counters, if you talk about TVS Motor, Hero MotoCorp, Eicher, Bajaj, or Maruti Tata Motors, I think one stock is there which is like catching my eyes. It's a TVS Motor because stock has been trading above 200 days moving average. Recently, stock took the support of its 200 days moving average. Not only this, during last week's trading session, stock from Hammer Candlesticks formation. Not only this, stock also took the support of its previous bottom. So multiple reasons are there for creating a long position, particularly in these counters. So one can go for long position in a TVS at 2,441 level. Downside strong support comes at 2,350. Upper side first target that we can see is the 2,540, and if stock breaks this 2,540, then further upside would be there up to the level of 2,800. So this reward is in favor of creating a bull position only.
9:38, ladies and gentlemen. What we'll do is we'll take a detour into the IT space. Let's look at the index first. The Nifty IT index is right there in front of you, 100 points higher. And what you see is the 100-day moving average helping the Nifty IT index to show some support. This is the lowest that we've seen the index since 16th of August, and let us see what is helping the IT index on its way up. We have Tech Mahindra 0.5% higher. We have overall a picture of strength coming in. We have about 20. We have 15 IT stocks in the F&O space. 7 of them are in the green. The big boys are HCL Tech 0.4% higher. TCS 0.3% higher. Remember, I marked TCS in the first opening comment that the counter was down for 4 successive days. You just might see support, so it's sort of working that way. Wipro 0.5% higher. Persistent 0.7% up. The Nifty still down 30 points, 23,966. The battle for dominance at 24,000 between the bulls and the bears continues in the backdrop of how should I say, maybe quality bottom fishing in sensible counters. Look at Hindustan Zinc, 557, 2.5% higher. Remember, we started marking it from 511 rupees, and despite the overall carnage in the market, this has held. Kunalji, anything that appears attractive to you?
Well, if you talk about any counters like IT or any other counters like Hindustan Zinc, you know the way stock has been trading on its daily chart, I think further upside would be there because stock has already given a breakout of its consistent formation in which it was trading for more than a month. Right now, stock is trading at 556 above its 200 days moving average. Not only this, stock has also taken the support of its 20 hourly moving average on an hourly chart. So all the equation goes for in creating a bullish position only in the Hindustan Zinc. Right now, stock is trading at 555. One can create a long position at present level with strict SL of 520. First target that we can say is the 575, and if stock breaks this 575, then further upside would be there up to the level of 635. So Hindustan Zinc looks very attractive on a daily chart in terms of all the moving average, all the rectangle formations, and if you talk about even weekly chart, then it, we can see that the bounce back would be there. So yes, this reward is very much favorable for this counter.
Okay, got that. So we'll keep an eye out on that too, right? Let's actually look at some of the other pockets. Okay, now only autos, metals, pharma and IT, four sectors that are holding on to the gains right now. Rest of the sectors have all slipped into the red. Realty is the top loser right now, about 0.5% of a loss can be seen on this one, but it's Raymond's that's still moving up. Remember, earnings came in. Kunal, would you have a view on Raymond and any chart suggestions here that you would be able to pick? Good set of earnings coming in. The stock is up by 1.8%.
Well, definitely Raymond looks very attractive on a daily chart. And if talk about yesterday's trading session, stock was up by 2%. Today's stock is up by 1.5%, trading at 1715. One can go for creating a long position present level with the strict SL of 1500. Now SL is at a bit lower level, but I think we may see a further upside momentum based on this risk reward ratio. First target that we can see is 1840, and if stock breaks this 1840, then further upside would be there up to the level 2200. So risk is in favor of creating a long position in this counter with strict SL somewhere around 1500.
Okay, got it. So that's as far as Raymond is concerned. Let's also look at the FNO space, Kunal. Tell us what looks positive to you. There are a lot of metal counters again over here which are up and about. NMDC, Tata Steel, Steel Authority, JSW Steel, they are all up and about. But even Manappuram Finance, for instance, is actually pulling up in trade. What do you spot here on Manappuram Finance?
Well, Manappuram Finance is trading at 157. Volatility is too high for this counter. If you look at last 1 week of chart, and stock is trading at 157 with up by 3% momentum. Now risk reward is too high for this counter if we want to create a position, particularly in future counters. So I'm just keeping myself away from these counters for creating a long position, particularly in futures.
Okay, focus on Coal India, ladies and gentlemen. It goes ex-dividend. 15 rupees 75 paisa was the dividend that was to be readjusted in the price, and that's happened right there in front of you. The stock is for the moment 13 rupees lower, so one needs to sort of keep the dividend readjustment in mind. The low was today 427, and we have at 431 12 rupees lower. So this is a perfect readjustment of dividend that has happened, and the counter is somewhere around 3rd June lows. So keep an eye out on this one. And what needs to be looked in great detail is another stock that I was looking at. Manappuram Finance, yes. Remember we marked it at 138 that you must buy, and Manappuram Finance is the earnings baby for today. Let's look at what the stock is telling you. For the moment we have 157 on the charts, up about 2.5%. Necessarily we don't take an opinion before earnings are there because they are still baked into the price, but from a low of 137 which was there on 24th of October, you are at 157, and the most recent high was 229 which we saw somewhere in early August. Again, I am sure if you look at it mathematically, it's a perfect 40% correction from 19th of July to 23rd of August. Ladies and gentlemen, companies don't disappear, prices become volatile. You must know when to sort of hit the nail on the head, and let me just give you a wonderful change in the PE as well. You will be surprised to know that on 18th of July when the stock hit an all-time high, the PE of Manappuram Finance was 8.5. At the low of 23rd of October, the PE was, one second, I'll have to actually increase the size of the chart, was 5.6 or something. So that is how we try and buy quality when it is in pain, and this is what will be looked at once the earnings are out. What else is clicking on the charts? Nothing that I can get my attention towards it, but the Nifty is now down 52 points, 23,942. Sakshi.
Okay, got it. So that's as far as Manappuram Finance is concerned. Let's again look at some paper stocks, Kunal, for you. Anything looks interesting right there? I can see some moves coming in on Pudamji paper, on Sri Mama newsprint, on Imami paper, Ruchira paper as well, Star paper mills. Remember, JK paper also came out with the earnings on that account too, and consolidated numbers had shown that in fact the numbers were weak, and therefore the stock is down 4%. Anything within the paper stocks that looks positive?
Definitely, I'll be talking on this CK paper only. No doubt, stock is down by 4%, but the stock has a strong support of its 200 days moving average. Not only this, stock has a strong support of its previous bottom also, which is placed at 425, 420 level. So now multiple supports are there for creating a long position in this counter right now. Stock is trading at 428. One can keep SL at 420. First target that we can see in the counter is 465, and if stock breaks this 465, then one way upside momentum would be there up to the level of 525. So this reward is in favor of creating a long position. One can go for creating a long position with strict SL of 420.
Okay. You know what is moving up now within the banking space is IndusInd Bank. It's moved to the top spot on the Nifty, 1.6% higher in trade. Kunal, this is interesting because this has been a big underperformer within the banking space. You know, on a year-to-date basis, if we look, the stock is already down over 33%. But if we look at the last 1 week's performance, it's been inching higher. It's almost 4% up, and today also it's about 1.5% higher in trade. Are things turning positive for IndusInd Bank? Is a lot done on the negative side, and one should look at it afresh?
Well, right now stock is trading at 1081 level, and confirmation level is 1085. So let's say if stock is sustaining above 1085, then only we will get a breakout as well as the confirmation for bullish momentum. Till that, one should wait, and I think this stock must be there in your watch list, because if stock breaks this 1085, then one way upside momentum would be there up to the level of 1165.
Okay.
Let's look at the volume breakers in the market. We have now a mild shade of red across 4 major indices. 82 down on the IT index. The Nifty Bank has slipped 90 points lower. You have 80-point downtick on the NSE 500, and the Nifty 50 is down about 52 points. Volume buzzers in the NSE 500, Chemplast, okay, 11 times the 5-day average. The counter itself is up 5.5%, and let us see what the earnings have been. Chemplast started out with a bang from the very start of day. Let's look at some other winners in trade today. Despite the weakness, Gland Pharma 8.5% higher with a very strong show in volumes. 8.25 lakh shares have been traded. Would you want to step in on Gland Pharma, Kunal? What are the 1750 is what I see, and a very, very huge bar for today after a massive correction.
I'll go for position only for the stock is trading at 1755 up by 9%, but the way stock has been trading, the way stock has given a breakout of its range of momentum, and the way stock and the support of its previous bottom, I think from the present level, one can go for long position at the present level. However, SL will be at 1580 target. First target that we can see the 1900, and if stock breaks this 1900, 70, it's very attractive on a daily and weekly chart.
Okay, you got it. So that's the view that's coming in on Pharma. Strong moves one way.
This
Amber Enterprises has Titan, in technologies, they are also pulling up in trade within the consumer durables pack. Tata Steel is the top mover now on the Nifty, 2.3% higher. Maruti up by almost 2%. JSW Steel, Hindalco, IndusInd Bank, largely the metals pack that's shining bright. Apart from this, Tata Motors, Grasim, Bajaj Auto are also pulling up in trade. Within the F&O space, Vodafone, NMDC, Jubilant Foodworks, Jindal Steel and Power, Manappuram Finance are the top movers. The PSE index is also absolutely flat with NMDC, Steel Authority, Oil India, IRCTC post earnings and NTPC also showing us some uptick as well. Within the broader markets, there are many stocks that are buzzing. Tilak Nagar Industries, keep an eye out on. Now it's 13% higher after the earnings. Gland Pharma, we have marked. It's moved to the top spot, about 10% higher now, 10.5% up. Precision Camshafts, Hatson Engineering, Hatson Agro Products, Procter & Gamble, Azad Engineering, Kirloskar Brothers has been marked as well by Shell, TD Power, GE Power as well. These are the kind of stocks in the broader markets that are in thick trade. What we'll do, viewers, we'll start to wrap up the trade. But remember, Sagility IPO opens for trade today. This is an IPO that you can keep an eye out on. It's a 2,106 crore IPO whose price brand has been fixed at 28 to 30 rupees per share. It's open for subscription now at 10 a.m. And as a retail investor, the minimum lot size for you would be 500 shares and a minimum investment of 15,000 rupees to apply in the IPO as well. We also spoke to the management of Sagility yesterday to get you a sense of what's management's vision on the company going forward. That will be on the platform as well. So do check that out in case you want to know more details on the IPO as well. We'll leave you at that for now, but we'll be back with many more shows to talk about market moves and strategies in this current volatile market. Stay with us on Business Today Television. Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra and this is the earnings special edition where our focus is on Biocon's earnings. Well, you do know that in quarter two of the fiscal year 2025, the company has reported total consolidated revenue which has come in flattish at 3,623 odd crore rupees. What we've also seen is that the revenue from operations have seen an uptick of about 4% for the company. And when we of course see the adjusted Q2 FY24 revenue on branded formulations, the uptick is about 8% on a year-on-year basis. The core EBITDA has been reported at 992 odd crore rupees. It reports a core operating margin of 28%, whereas for the operational performance, EBITDA for the quarter stood at 718 crores, representing a margin of about 20 odd percent as well. This has been on a downtick when we compare on a year-on-year basis as well. This is despite the net R&D investments for the quarter at 200 crore rupees, representing 7% of the revenue right there, excluding of Syngene, but this has also been on a declining trend as well. For the quarter, the company has reported a net loss of about 16 odd crore rupees. Of course, this is barring the adjustments that have been declared by the company as well. And adjusting for exceptional items, the loss stands at 13 odd crore rupees. Let's get in the top management to talk about the earnings this quarter, the key highlights, and of course, the outlook going forward in the second half. Mr. Siddharth Mittal, he's the CEO and the MD of Biocon Limited, and he's now joining in. Warm welcome to you, Mr. Mittal, and thank you so much for taking the time out to explain to our viewers what has worked for you in this quarter, what has fallen short of your expectations, and going forward, what are the expectations that we as investors and viewers should be building in from Biocon in H2. So especially when we talk about large part of the parameters, they seem to be on a muted or rather on a weaker side. Could you detail for